studying the Holocaust, which we talked about. But I also know that you guys have done lessons on poetry as well. So, today that's what we're going to be talking about. And first, to get us in the mood of poetry, I'd like to start with reciting a poem to you all. So, get your minds in order. Close your eyes, put your head down. Just listen to my voice, children. They had taken away her hair, her shoes, her name, a bluish numeral. Under the skin, her gender denied in a sea of men. Yet something of her, as she was, remained. In the barracks where work makes one free, she learned to stand motionless from 5 to 10. For Ziel Appel, camouflaging her skin where blemishes meant selection to the left, urging her sisters who refused the moldy soup, the sawdust bread, that to eat was to resist, to eat, even to eat the pain, to eat even when the throat gagged from the disinfecting stench, to eat even with swollen ears and frozen feet in cubicles too narrow to stand or sleep, where one warm blanket was assigned to cover 10, to swallow even the teeth marks of the snarling capo guard, doubling back upon them the injuries from above, to remember always that first day when a flick of the wrist sent her to the right and her parents to the left. Mother, where are you? 12-year-old Katya would scream night after night. At 16, more adult than child, she had promised to care for the children, the promise that kept her and them alive. Now, we're snapping. Yeah. We will come back to this poem later on, but I just wanted us, like I said, to get in the mood. Now, I want you all to look in your book at, I think it is page 36.
I think it's page 30.
Yes, page 30. Sorry, I'm taking your book over. If you don't mind, please. Okay. First, I want us to look at the picture on our right. Look at the people. Look at the scenery around it. Okay, so we're going to read this poem. Noelle, can you start for us reading the first 3 lines?
Sure. There are hundreds of people in the street. This could be New York or Chicago. Traffic is stopped in the cold.
Can you do it?
The men are bareheaded, wearing long, heavy coats, and some of them are running with raised arms, their flat palms lifted like white selections against the sky. The dark bodies moving in formation across the ordinary street, a street with lampposts and windows.
Can you continue?
A street with automobiles and drug stores and stains that could be scuff marks of hundreds of shoes, marching for car oil or blood. The faces of a crowd of the crowd are far away and small with features indistinct as smudged charcoal. I don't know the name of the street, but I know it is Poland, 1938, and my mother may be living close by.
Listening at the window with the shades down. Listening to the future rushing toward her like a wave. Listening to her heart beat against her Back into the past when a mother's arm was still there, before a blue number was branded it.
Okay. Poem. It seemed kind of different, right? It wasn't your normal poem with rhyming words and things of that nature, quite like the poem that I read to you. This is more of a narrative poem, and it's going on the picture that you see here. So Gail Newman saw this picture and then responded with this poem. And it's called an anti-Semitic demonstration. So, I want you all to go into pairs, and I would like for you to, this has been shared with you, this worksheet here on Google. It's the anti-Semitic demonstration worksheet. So we just all get it up on your iPad. It's under the Holocaust. And then there we go. Anti-Semitic questions. That's cool.
Put it in Notability.
So you'll take that and then put it in Notability so that you can type on there. So since we've read this aloud, you may have to go back and look at it silently with your partner. We call them elbow partners in fourth grade. Call them that now. I could. You get the drift. So I would like you and your partner to go through these 6 questions that have to do with the poem to your left. And then we will reconvene afterward, and I'll circle around to talk to you guys a little bit.
Or have Gabby email Notability to you.
Really?
How she imagine her
Yeah, go ahead.
Is her mother 16 or is she 16? Because they talk about the same and he was in close by, looking at the window in the shade, drowned, listening to the future listening to her heartbeat,
She's 16.
Oh, so the mother is.
No.
Okay, so
No.
she stopped talking about the mother.
Mm-hmm.
So.
There's a lot of run-ups. You know how you just write what you were thinking at the time? That's basically what she's doing. I really think she became like
Yeah.
from that point of view, working down to the crowd. So that's why I talk to her all the time. Couple more minutes, and then we'll all read together. Okay. I'm curious now. Oh, it's not that bad. I could have that. I read favorite handwriting. You guys like to shoot? No? Figured you would. Yeah, you know how like this So she doesn't want it. Yes. Because this is already. Okay. Like, I wanted to go back. If I could just push them all back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I see that most of us are done. Most of us are done with the questions. I just want to talk about the number 6 while we transition into our next portion. Number 6. Gitika, what did your group come up for with number 6? It deals with poetic devices.
Well, we said there's there's one simile in the poem when they say their flat palms lifted like white slashes against the sky.
So what simile, what is the poet saying with the simile?
Well,
what can you gather from that sentence about these people here?
they're white.
They're white, yeah. But it says their palms are lifted.
They're like that or like this.
Like
hailing Hitler.
What kind of devices, Noah, did your group come up with? You didn't get to that one? That was your last one. I knew you were on number 5. What kind of devices did your group come up with?
Metaphors, flashbacks, and simile.
Okay. That's kind of the same. I think you guys got the basic notion of poetic devices. And so that brings me to our next poem that we're going to look at. And that is on page 72 that I read to you when we first started. And when we reread this, let's look for poetic devices once again and what the poet is trying to say. I'm going to give you an assignment, but first we're going to read this again. Okay? And I'll read it. They had taken away her hair, her shoes, her name, a bluish numeral, under the skin, her gender denied in a sea of men, yet something of her as she was remained. In the barracks where work makes one free, she learned to stand motionless from 5 to 10, for ZL Appel, which is, of course, German, and it's roll call. That means roll call. Camouflaging her skin where blemishes meant selection to the left. Urging her sisters who refused the moldy soup, the sawdust bread, that to eat was to resist, to eat, even to eat, the pain, to eat, even when the throat gagged from the disinfecting stench. To eat even with swollen ears and frozen feet in cubicles too narrow to stand or sleep, where one worn blanket was assigned to cover 10, to swallow even the teeth marks of the snarling capo guard, doubling back upon them the injuries from above. To remember always that first day when a flick of the wrist sent her to the right, her parents to the left. Mother, where are you? 12-year-old Katya would scream night after night. At 16, more adult than child, she had promised to care for the children, the promise that kept her and them alive. Now, this is a very emotional piece to me, and I've also saved something else with you all on Google Drive that I want you to put, I want you to respond to. But first, before we do that, I'd like to talk about what this poem means. Gabby, what did you gather from this poem?
That she's trying to help the children that are, that are captured from it. I don't know.
She pays a lot of attention to one thing, I would say, in her poem. Something that we all have to do. And she says that when they eat, they have to eat moldy soup. Who's ever eaten moldy soup? Or you have. Was it delicious?
No.
No, okay, because you're the only one who's eaten it. I was assuming that it's not delicious. Or who's ever eaten sawdust bread? Could you imagine what sawdust bread would even taste like?
Is it red sawdust or is it like?
Well, I think she means that once the bread gets so hard and you take a bite into it, it kind of all crumbles. Sawdust bread. It's hard. It has no real taste. So imagine having to eat this maybe they'll only feed them 3 times a day. So imagine having to eat that. And then she pays attention to the body. She says, even with swollen ears and frozen feet. If they have frozen feet, are they wearing shoes inside?
No.
And swollen ears, you can get swollen ears from a number of things, but obviously it's cold outside, it says frozen feet, so their ears are swollen. And we're going to zoom in with our lens to the last stanza, because this will be your assignment from saving the children. It says, Mother, where are you? And it says the 12-year-old Katya would scream this night after night. Mother, where are you? Now at 16, it says that she was more of an adult than a child. And she promised to take care of the children. And that promise is what kept her alive and them. So we're going to pretend Noelle here is 16. How old are you really? 14. So you're 2 years older than Katya when she was screaming, "Mother, where are you?" But you're 2 years younger than she was when she had to take care of the rest of your classmates. And try to save them from death. So, your assignment that is saved with you, if you could go to that. It says you're going to respond to this poem through writing. Your response will be shaped by becoming one of the characters in the poem. You need to reread the poem to yourself, and as you read it, list the conditions that the poem discusses in your notebook or on your iPad. For example, stanza 4 explains that there was one old worn blanket for 10 people. Of course, that's not going to keep you warm. Now, as you brainstorm, as your list grows, I want you to form an idea of what concentration camp is like. And then go to the next step to recognize like how hard it is. As I tried to explain with you all, I modeled that. Trying to understand the hardships and the willpower you would need in order to survive. You can compare aspects of daily life, like roll call, as we talked about, which was that great German word that I probably demolished. And then meals and being fenced in. And then there's an example for you, which is being fenced in is like window shopping without any money because I can only look through the barbed wire at Freedom on display. What poetic device did I use? A simile, correct? Now, I want you to create a new page in Google Docs or Notability, and you have those things there for you. And then, based on the descriptions of what life was like for a teenager in concentration camp, respond to the question made by the daughter in the last stanza. Mother, where are you? And if you like, you can change it to Father, where are you? So pretend that you are the mother or father and then fully answer her question. Be sure to answer where you are and what life is like where you are. You can respond by writing a poem, which should be 15 lines or more, or you can write 2 paragraphs, which is a narrative. Whether you do a poem or paragraph, you have to include 3 poetic devices. This is why we talked about number 6. It can be a simile, metaphor, personification. You can even do a flashback, irony, etc. Okay? Does everybody understand what your assignment is? Yes? Yes? Okay. I'll let you get started because we're done. We have 3 minutes,
couple minutes, yeah.
basically. So, I'll let you get started because I know you're just ready to get going, right? Yes? So you can just share it.
You put your name on the board, your email.
So I'm going to put my email on the board, and I want you to share it or email it to me as an assignment, or tomorrow, I guess. as your assignment for tonight. Okay?
And we don't have class tomorrow because of the half day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to email it to Miss Ray, yeah, by Friday night or Saturday night, that'd be fine. You can also email that to me if you put the two of us.
Oh my gosh, you have primary school handwriting. You're a primary school teacher, I can tell that.
I know.
Well, so does Mr. Pearson though. When you look